Imagine two different stores selling the exact same jacket. In the first store, the price tag simply says $80. In the second store, the price tag shows a large crossed-out number reading $200, with $80 written right next to it as the new discounted price. Both stores are asking you to pay the exact same amount of money. Yet almost everyone feels like they are getting a much better deal in the second store. Nothing about the jacket changed. The material, the stitching, the quality, all of it is identical. The only difference is that one number appeared briefly before the real price, and that single number was enough to completely change how good of a deal your brain believes it just found, without a single fact about the jacket itself ever actually changing, from the fabric to the stitching to the way it fits on your shoulders. Psychologists call this the anchoring effect. It describes how the first number you encounter, even a completely irrelevant one, quietly becomes a reference point that shapes every judgment you make afterward. Once that first number enters your mind, your brain does not evaluate the next number from a neutral starting position. It evaluates it relative to the anchor, adjusting up or down from that initial point instead of calculating an independent, objective estimate. The unsettling part is that the anchor does not even need to make logical sense. It does not need to be accurate, relevant, or even related to the decision at hand. As long as a number appears first, your brain will quietly use it as a starting point for almost everything that comes after it, regardless of whether that number ever deserved that kind of influence in the first place. Researchers demonstrated this in one particularly striking experiment. Participants spun a wheel that was secretly rigged to land on either a low number or a high number, completely unrelated to any real-world fact. They were then asked to estimate what percentage of a certain group of countries belonged to a specific organization, a question that had absolutely nothing to do with the wheel. Participants who spun the low number guessed a noticeably lower percentage. Participants who spun the high number guessed a noticeably higher percentage. A completely random spin of a wheel, with zero factual connection to the question, still managed to drag people's estimates in its direction, simply because it was the first number they happened to see, moments before being asked to estimate something the wheel had absolutely nothing to do with. A question about an entirely unrelated topic on the other side of the world. This trick is used deliberately everywhere, often without you ever noticing it happening. Negotiators open with an aggressive first offer, not because they expect to get that exact number, but because every counteroffer afterward will be measured against it. Real estate listings are often priced slightly higher than expected, so that the eventual selling price still feels reasonable by comparison, even if it is well above the property's true value. Job candidates who state a higher salary expectation first tend to end up with higher final offers than candidates who wait to hear a number first, even when both candidates have identical qualifications. In every case, whoever sets the first number quietly controls the entire range of what feels reasonable to everyone else in the conversation, long before anyone consciously agrees to accept that range at all. What makes anchoring especially dangerous is how effortlessly it slips past conscious awareness. People who are warned in advance that a number might be a manipulative anchor still end up influenced by it, just slightly less than people who receive no warning at all. Even experts, including experienced negotiators and financial professionals who fully understand how anchoring works, are not immune to its pull when it happens to them personally. Knowing about a cognitive bias intellectually is simply not the same as being protected from it in the moment. The anchor does its work quietly, beneath the level of deliberate reasoning, adjusting your internal sense of what counts as expensive, cheap, reasonable, or excessive, long before you consciously begin comparing anything at all, no matter how confident you feel about your own objectivity in that exact moment. A confidence the anchor has already quietly begun reshaping from the inside. The most effective defense against anchoring is not trying to ignore the first number, since your brain will register it whether you want it to or not. Instead, before reacting to any number, deliberately generate your own independent estimate first, based only on facts you actually trust, before ever looking at what the other side is offering. Comparing two numbers you already have is far safer than comparing one number you have against one number someone else strategically handed to you. The next time you see a crossed-out price, an aggressive opening offer, or a number that arrived suspiciously early in a conversation, pause and ask yourself where your own estimate would have landed without it. If this video just changed how you look at every price tag you see, subscribe because the first number is almost never as innocent as it looks. no matter how ordinary or unremarkable it seemed the moment it first appeared.